and today's reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is Halloween Kills 2021 kill count. Now this is a first for me, because for those of you who don't know, I do react to pitch meetings along with these kill counts, sort of a back-to-back sort of thing. And they normally don't interact with each other at all, meaning you have kill counts over here, which is basically horror, and you have everything else over here with all the pitch meetings. But a long while back, Halloween Kills was a pitch meeting that Ryan George, the guy who runs the channel, decided to do. And in that video, I gave my thoughts pretty extensively about how I felt about the franchise and also the movie itself. So this video is going to be more about learning about the movie, learning how it was made, how the effects were, enjoying all of the jokes and all of the references James makes throughout. And I will give a little brief opinion on the movie at the very end, but certainly not as long as it was for the pitch meeting one. So if you want to know my full thoughts of that, I'll leave the link in the description and also right over there. So if you enjoy other kill counts, I've reacted to many of them for you to enjoy. And if you want to see future reactions that I do, you can go right below this video, click that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, because not only does it give you access to past, present, and future reactions that I do, but also helps my channel out a ton. They can go on over and support Dead Meat if you haven't already. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. And without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janisse, and today we're looking at Halloween Kills, released in 2021. Halloween Kills is the sequel to Halloween 2018, and picks up right where it left off. Like, seriously, right where it left off. Not only on the same night, but mere moments after the Strode women locked Michael Myers inside a burning building. With Halloween 2018 a critical and commercial success, Blumhouse quickly greenlit not just one, but two sequels. Both of them, like 2018, would be directed by David Gordon Green and co-written by Danny McBride. That makes Halloween Kills the middle child in this new trilogy, and consequently, the movie sometimes feels like it's spinning its wheels. The plot and themes are all over the place, the characters are some of the dumbest in horror history, and Laurie Strode is completely wasted. Ultimately, this is a messy movie, but it's a mess that I kind of enjoy. I've watched it several times now, and it never bores me, except for maybe the hospital scenes. Those can be fast-forwarded. One thing I can respect is how weird it is.
It's him. It's him. It's Michael Myers.
I commend it for taking stylistic swings. I also like how it expands on the town of Haddonfield, bringing back characters and actors from both the 2018 and 1978 films. While Halloween 2018 looked at generational trauma, Halloween Kills is about the effect Michael Myers has on a whole community.
Let's get that bird's eye view of Haddonfield itself. What does Haddonfield look like 40 years after the 1978 murders?
It's nice to acknowledge that other people were affected by Michael's killing spree in '78. I just wish it wasn't handled so clumsily. Hard to take the town seriously when they chant a slogan like they're at a pro wrestling show.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
All right, evil dies tonight!
Still, it's a fresh take on the Halloween formula, and even if they're making dumb decisions, I like the supporting characters. I laughed a bunch at the comedic acting and line deliveries, and the individual killy vignettes are often well done and super gory. And I mean it on that last point. This is one violent, dark slasher.
Sure
in fact, looks like I've gotten bloody just talking about this thing. This movie has kills in the title, so there better be a lot of them. Let's see. The movie begins with a quick checkup on Cameron, Allison's unfaithful Dunaway who got ditched at the dance last movie. He comes across the injured but still living Frank Hawkins, meaning I messed up when I put him on the kill count in Halloween 2018. Well, excuse me! Normally, when someone's stabbed in the neck and run over, it's pretty safe to count him as dead. John Carpenter's classic Halloween theme takes us back to 1978, where Hawkins, then a rookie cop, was getting juked by a fresh-faced Michael Myers. Remember, Halloween 2018 was a direct sequel to the original, meaning the Laurie Michael sibling stuff and everything else in Halloween 2 isn't canon anymore. This flashback fills us in on this timeline's version of events, which were described by Dr. Sartain last movie.
Did you know our friend Hawkins here was the first responding deputy when Michael was apprehended in 1978? You stopped Loomis from killing Michael that night.
Hawkins is joined by his partner McCabe, played by filmmaker Jim Cummings, who wrote, directed, and starred in the solid horror comedy Wolf of Snow Hollow. The two officers make their way to the Myers house, where inside they find the dog carcass that Michael had been nomming on, unless Loomis meant that figuratively.
He got hungry.
I still think Mikey My eats dogs. Upstairs, McCabe takes a breather to stare out Judith Myers' window, something he said Michael used to do as a kid to look out over the town.
Haddonfield, where nothing exciting ever happened.
Lightning McQueen flies at McCabe and slams him repeatedly against the wall. This trilogy's Michael is mostly played by the 65-year-old James Jude Courtney, who, again, is a real nice guy.
Nice job, dude. Thanks, man.
But for the 1978 sequences, stunt coordinator Aaron Armstrong stepped in to give the role a more youthful mobility. Hawkins hears his partner struggling and tries to assist, but he's no William Tell, so his first shot hits McCabe in the neck. Upset at getting his kill stolen, Michael storms off, leaving Hawkins to comfort McCabe as he succumbs to his injuries. Oof, good luck living with that, dude. Now, even though this is Halloween Kills, it's also Halloween Resurrection, because look at who's back from the dead, motherfuckers!
Officer Hawkins, tell me, what happened in here? Did Michael kill again?
I initially thought this was a product of deepfake technology, but no, this Loomis is entirely practical. The filmmakers noticed that their construction coordinator, Tom Jones Jr., strongly resembled the late Donald Pleasance.
The second we walked on set, we said this guy looks like Loomis.
His appearance was then augmented by returning special effects makeup maestro Christopher Nelson.
My biggest fear was that once the makeup was on, he would look less like Donald Pleasance than when he did beforehand.
The end result is uncanny, especially with comedian Colin Mahan returning to dub in the character's voice, like he did in 2018's opening credits.
Stop! Michael, stay back!
It was a necessary James Earl Jonesing to Tom Jones Jr.'s David Prowse.
Michael, stop!
Louder.
Michael, stop!
As loud as you got.
Michael, stop!
Outside, the camera pulls away from a surrounded Michael in a callback to the opening of the original. It's a retro shot that perfectly pairs with our retro title card. A phenomenal update to the Halloween theme plays, featuring synthesized choral tones. This film's score was done by returning composers John Carpenter, his son Cody, and his godson Daniel Davies. As their work gives life to the opening credits, 12 jack-o'-lanterns are seen, representing the 12 movies in this franchise. A flaming pumpkin lights the way to Mick's bar, where a bunch of characters are waiting for us to re-meet them. First, Vanessa and Marcus, the couple dressed as a doctor and nurse who were seen during the last movie's awesome long one-take. Their date night is interrupted by Tommy Doyle, played by Anthony Michael Hall. Tommy's the little boy Laurie babysat in the original, though this isn't the kid who played him, because that kid didn't become an actor. The character made a cameo in Halloween 4 and was the lead protagonist in Halloween 6, where he was played by a young Paul Rudd. Rudd was actually approached to reprise the role for this movie, but he had to turn it down to do another requel, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Paul is enthusiastic and does his best with the dialogue he has to say. Tommy struggles with the trauma of his encounter with Michael Myers, and he shares that trauma with his drinking buddies. Lindsay Wallace is played by Kyle Richards, who was 9 years old when she played the character in the original.
40 years ago, you carried me.
I carried you.
Come on. No, I'm gonna carry you.
No, I'm gonna carry you.
Nurse Marion Chambers is played by Nancy Stevens, who also reprised the character in Halloween H2O and got killed in that alternate timeline. Finally, there's Lonnie Elam, who used to bully Tommy as a kid. He's the one who smashed his pumpkin and got scared away from the Myers house by Loomis.
Hey, Lonnie. Get your ass away from there.
He also, as this movie shows, had an encounter with Michael on the night of the murders. Lonnie's played by Robert Longstreet, last seen on the kill count as a True Knot member in Dr. Sleep. Tommy gives a speech that foreshadows all the ridiculous dialogue he'll have this movie.
Who's next? Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow, but the boogeyman is coming for me. And he's coming for you.
He leads a toast to another survivor, his babysitter Lori, who's currently bleeding out in the back of a truck. The Strode women are right where we left them, only pissed off because they see firefighters heading towards the burning Myers tomb.
No! I'll let it burn!
She wanna let it burn, wanna let it burn. As the firefighters clear the burning house, some of the floor collapses, sending one poor soul named Benton tumbling into the basement. It's a scary situation, and it only gets worse, because there's a boogeyman in the closet.
Sure
is. That's how Michael survived, by hiding in Laurie's shrine to the Second Amendment. Michael promptly kills Benton with this pickaxe-looking thing that's apparently called the Halligan Bar, the more you know. Another firefighter reaches out to help his friend, only to be offered a firm handshake into death. Outside, point, the remaining crew is treated to the incredible visual of Michael Myers literally rising from the ashes. They rightfully assess that Mikey's not exactly on the up and up, so they ready their equipment and prepare to be Meyer fighters. This guy up front tries to treat Michael like a civil rights activist, but he's quickly dispatched by a 3D head stab. Whoa! Michael then stabs 3 more firefighters, lifting one guy up in a seriously awesome wire stunt before killing a 4th with his own circular saw. The extra 4 I'm adding to the count right now come from a group shot we see when Michael exits the building. There are 9 firefighters there, and I don't think any survive. You can also see their bodies later when the cops arrive on the scene. There's also a line from Tommy later that mentions 11 first responders dead at Laurie's compound, so I guess that figure doesn't include officers Richards and Francis, who were also found by Haddonfield PD. Of course, I already counted those 2 kills when I covered Halloween 2018. This slaughter scene featured real firefighters in the roles and was all over the movie's trailers, since it kicks a lot of ass. Rarely does Michael Myers kill people in a group like this, so stunt coordinator Aaron Armstrong had his work cut out for him, especially since this all took place in front of an actual burning building, which did not give them a lot of time to shoot.
The house within like an hour 10 was down to the ground.
The amazing work here is why Halloween Kills was nominated for Best Stunts or Choreography at the first ever Dead Meat Horror Awards. Please check out that show if you haven't already. I really think it's the best thing we've ever done on this channel. Laurie, true to Halloween sequel form, is being taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. Her arrival piques the attention of former sheriff turned security guard Lee Brackett, played by an 82-year-old Charles Cyphers, reprising his role from the original.
That's so cool, man.
A couple of my friends were going, I can't believe it. And I said, I can't either, but here I am, you know.
A flashback of ex-Sheriff Brackett uses footage from the now non-canonical Halloween 2. Yo, if we're using Halloween 2 footage, could we get a little bit of that Ben Tramer? Thank you. It never gets old. As Laurie is taken into surgery, we finally see Karen and Allison acknowledge the death of their husband and father, Ray. Laurie's closest neighbor is Sandra, that caretaker from the last movie who spotted Michael in the graveyard. She's currently training for her drone pilot's license, and her husband Phil complains about the nearby fire.
From upstairs, it looks like they put it out. But that nutbag lives a highly flammable lifestyle.
Do not talk no shit about that woman. She will fuck you up.
Sandra and Phil are great examples of minor characters who immediately make you fall in love with them. It's my favorite thing about David Gordon Green's directing and casting. It makes these scenes so much more upsetting when you know they're about to get killed. Michael appears in their home and Friday Part 4s his way through the window, forcing Phil through some glass shards in a very painful affair. Sandra runs to unlock the kitchen door, but as Michael saunters into the kitchen, she instead grabs a knife and, just stands still. Lady, get the fuck out of there!
Seriously,
Michael
dude?
casually breaks a fluorescent light and stabs Sandra in the neck with it, an effect that was surprisingly hard to do.
So we had this, full prosthetic appliance with bladders underneath it and fluorescent light bulbs out of plastic that retracted that had a little gun shooting thing in it.
An injured Phil is dragged away, and as Sandra bleeds out in the kitchen, we see an out-of-focus Michael using Phil to test the effectiveness of their entire Cutco collection. Oh, good. He found one he likes. Great scene, but honestly devastating. Back at the bar, where things are somehow scarier, news of Michael's killing spree begins to reach the patrons. They watch a news report about Michael's escape, but Iraq focus prevents us from seeing his mugshot. We do, however, get a clear view of a teenage Bob Odenkirk standing in for Bob the wall decoration victim from the original.
Wow.
Odenkirk gave them rights to use his yearbook photo after production couldn't track down the original actor. The broadcast features a cameo from Julian, one of my favorite characters from 2018.
And she was my #1 main best babysitter.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Since Julian lives in the same neighborhood as Vanessa and Marcus, they leave to go check on their home, right after Marcus gets all his accessories.
Shit, I forgot my stethoscope.
Dude did the same thing in the last movie.
I don't have my stethoscope. I need it, I'm gonna get it. I'll be right back.
Vanessa sees a shape in the back of their car and runs into the bar crying for help. Tommy grabs a baseball bat and makes a charitable donation.
Love lives today.
Inspiring a mantra from Marion.
But evil dies tonight.
And so it begins. Tommy leads a mob outside to confront the backseat driver, but before he can deliver a proper breakfast clubbing, the car speeds out of the parking lot and into a nearby generator. The mob arrives to find the car empty because the driver has fled. Unbeknownst to them, it's a man named Tivoli, a Smith's Grove inmate who was a piece on Michael's chessboard. That umbrella he's holding there can be seen in the car he just crashed. Tivoli also escaped in the bus crash and could be seen on the news a minute ago. Though I will point out that the broadcast doesn't identify either man as Michael Myers. While Tommy workshops a catchphrase,
Swing on Huckleberry here. Say night-night.
Night-night.
Allison is delivered bad news via jump cut.
Michael Myers is alive.
What? Karen tells her daughter to stay with her grandmother, but instead, Allison leaves her freeze-frame knife from the end of the last movie in Laurie's laundry. She sneaks off with a newly arrived Cameron, with whom she quickly makes amends. I like the Cameron redemption arc. He's here with his dad Lonnie, Tommy's ex-bully buddy from the bar scene. Their family ties were actually mentioned in the last movie by Ray.
We're excited to meet Cameron.
That whole family, though, had a reputation.
Ray.
Remember the one time Lonnie punched that cop in the face?
Ray.
This movie also addresses Lonnie and Ray's friendship and gives a different perspective about their transactional drug history.
You knew my dad?
Yeah, I knew Ray. He used to sell me peyote.
I know Lonnie. I went to high school with him. He used to sell me peyote.
Lonnie and Tommy are gearing up in the parking lot when they're joined by the rest of the 1978 crew, as well as Marcus and Vanessa, who, turns out, are dressed ironically.
I'm a doctor, my husband's a nurse.
And both of you are fine. As Tommy rallies the troops and workshops more catchphrases,
keep your eyes open. Eyes open.
Lindsay and the three nurses patrol the neighborhood in her car. She gets out to approach some Season of the Witch trick-or-treaters. Not sure if they're supposed to be the same kids we saw in the last movie, but I love their performances in this one. They are perfect little shitbirds.
And like, there's a creepy man in a white mask, and he keeps like trying to play hide and seek with us, and he's
Michael Myers reappears to teach them some respect and to add a kill to the count. Their friend Dennis, whom he killed off screen. Yeah, get that silver sham fuck out of this continuity. With the youngsters running off to bed, Michael decides to go old school, climbing on top of the car and attacking Nurse Marion Chambers in a direct callback to their first encounter in the original. Her poor gun safety is almost as dangerous as Michael himself, so Vanessa dips out of that situation, taking the other handgun with her. Michael drops down from the roof, and Marion's erratic shooting ruins her big moment.
Hey, Michael! This is for Dr. Loomis.
With the ammo spent, Michael makes like it's H2O and kills Nurse Marion Chambers, stabbing her to death in the passenger seat. Marcus tries to strangle the shape with his stethoscope, but he gets a gnarly knife stab in the eye. To accomplish this effect, the filmmakers used a classic gag. The actors simply played the stab out backwards, and the footage was played in reverse. An appliance with a half blade attached was used, with the rest of the blade added digitally. Vanessa starts firing her gun at Michael, which, like, where were you two kill graphics ago? But when she gets a little too close, this happens. Oh yeah, Michael. That's a signature head tilter for sure.
Yeah.
I know some people laughed at this kill, but I actually felt really bad for Vanessa. Actress Carmela McNeil didn't seem to mind though.
Everyone's apologizing every die. Like, I'm so sorry you guys died. Like, man, I'd rather die by Michael Myers than anybody else.
Lindsay comes in with a bag of bricks instead of candy, but quickly finds herself outmatched. She runs away and Michael marches slowly and steadily after her. Thankfully, he has the same weaknesses as a Black Rider, and Lindsay is able to avoid him by hiding and waiting for Strider. At the hospital, Officer Hawkins is wheeled into Laurie's room, giving us a combo that elucidates their romantic history, which was hinted towards in the last movie. They mentioned that they once kissed, but nothing more, since Laurie had eyes for someone else.
Ben Tramer.
And even though Ben Tramer is best known as a burning corpse in Halloween 2, this line is still a reference to the original film, where he was mentioned as a guy Laurie was into.
I'd rather go with Ben Tramer. Ben Tramer? I knew it!
Allison is with Cameron and Lonnie when they run into Tommy, who's discovered Lindsay's blood-stained car. The adults find the bodies of their nurse friends, allowing Robert Longstreet to show off his acting chops.
He did this. Oh, God, Marion. Tommy, what the fuck?
That's the kind of work that makes him a Mike Flanagan regular. Allison discovers an injured but still breathing Lindsay, so Tommy takes her to the hospital, where she's wheeled away to storage until they can take her out again for the next film. With the police department overwhelmed by the scope of Michael's killing spree, Tommy encourages the crowd to take matters into their own hands.
This ends when Michael is dead! Michael Myers will be executed tonight, and it will not go without witness!
Okay, Tomster, you've got a good platform, but you're really gonna need an effective catchphrase.
Evil dies tonight!
Oh, okay. Bracket, wanna co-sign that slogan?
Evil dies tonight!
I think we have a winner. Emboldened by the support, Tommy breaks into Laurie's hospital room, which is how she finally learns that Michael Myers is still alive. Though Karen begs her to stay put, Laurie shoves her aside and uses some pain meds to juice up her butt. It's at this unfortunate moment Tivoli enters the hospital looking for medical treatment. The crowd quickly recognizes him from the bus crash news report, and pretty soon, the boy who cried Michael is leading another charge against the man.
Evil dies tonight!
No, you guys, that dude's not evil.
Nope.
Ugh, too late. Haddonfield might as well be Springfield at this point. How fucking dumb are they to mistake this waddling man for Michael Myers? Cause yeah, it makes a lot of sense that Mike would come to the hospital unmasked asking for help. Did something happen to Haddonfield's water supply? If only the mob was searching at the renovated Myers house, where new co-owner Big John is token up like this were Annie Brackett's car. I love the way this scene is cut. It's a delightful introduction to his character.
Stop, look, and listen. It's Halloween.
His dancing temporarily distracts him from his swashbuckling husband Little John downstairs.
Hey, Big John.
What?
Hey, Big John.
What?
Christ. Little John.
Okay! Big John is played by Scott MacArthur, who we last saw in The Babysitter, Killer Queen. Little John is played by Michael McDonald, last seen on the kill count letting off some steam in Leprechaun 2. They've been dealing with little shits in this movie too. Earlier in the night, those playground punks stole their candy. The Johns hear some knocking and assume it's more of the same trickery, but the discovery of a bloody handprint leads them to arm themselves with ironically sized knives.
I got this knife. I got this knife.
I really love Big John and Little John. I find them hilarious and delightful. But I'm also not a gay man, and I've heard from some gay viewers that the characters are offensive stereotypes. I think they're a cute, quirky, loving couple whose gayness is incidental, not the entirety of who they are. But they are played by two actors who I believe are straight, like me, so, you know, not my place to say those criticisms are wrong. What I can say is that they've been drinking from the Haddonfield dummy water supply, because they split up to search their house separately. Big John goes to Judith Myers' old room and checks for the boogeyman beneath the bed. But the boogeyman is standing right behind you, motherfucker! Michael the Mountain spins Big John around and freaking gouges his eyeballs out with his thumbs. It's a horrifically gory kill, accomplished beautifully with this practical head. Looks like Scott MacArthur was happy to swap out with the dummy.
That's fucking terrifying.
When Little John comes upstairs, he pays the killer reverence.
Michael. You've come home.
And then apparently just fucking stands there as Michael approaches and kills him off screen. Pretty dumb. Laurie and Karen realize the mob's going after an innocent man, but it's too late. People are already knocking over equipment and doing stunt falls down the stairs. Even the doctors are getting involved. Whatever happened to do no harm, brah? The knee splits Laurie's stitches open, sending her back to her bed for the rest of the movie. Why'd we have that butt jabbing scene then? Man, Laurie in the hospital is my least favorite flavor of Halloween movie. It sucks. Karen manages to track down Tivoli and offer him some comfort, then tries to protect him by putting him in a hallway and locking the doors at both ends. Instead of staying inside there with him though, and explaining to the mob what's going on, she steps outside and gets overcome by the horde while meekly trying to get her point across. A frightened Tivoli sees the crowd breaking in, so he makes his way through a window and leaps from the building, splattering next to the spectators below. It's a non-Michael death that's also one of the most graphic in the movie. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't do shit for this guy. You know, this is a sad death, but I'm mad that it could have been more emotional if it made more sense.
How do we know it's real?
Fucking look at him, dude! Back in Laurie's hospital room, Hawkins blames himself for the night's events. That's because in 1978, he felt so guilty after accidentally killing his partner, he stopped Dr. Loomis from executing Michael in the street. Afterwards, Hawkins' boss covered up his friendly fire with a thematic reprimand.
Just because your intentions are good doesn't mean things always work out.
In 2018, ex-Sheriff Brackett echoes that sentiment.
Now he's turning us into monsters.
For any faults this movie has, its flashbacks to 1978 look great, and that's a result of so many crew members putting in a lot of work. To match the original film stylistically, they used fewer camera movements and edited the segments at a slower pace. Director of photography Michael Simmons even reached out to the original film cinematographer Dean Cundy for advice on how to emulate the same lighting style. Costume designer Emily Gunshore recreated the cop uniforms from the original film down to the flare of their pants, and makeup artist Christopher Nelson led the effort to recreate the original 1978 Myers mask, pouring over every detail down to the fibers of the hair.
There's a little air bubble in the corner of the mouth. There's the way the eyes are shaded on the inside but not the outside. There's the way there's dirt on the nose. Even some people are like, Chris, there's like a piece of hair swirl sticking up there. Could you mat that down? I'm like, oh, no. That has to be there. If it's not there, it's not the 78 shape.
Karen is pissed at Tommy for riling up a mob that killed an innocent man, but then she kind of talks herself out of it.
Fuck it.
None of us are innocent.
Wait, but that guy was? What the fuck? Tommy apologizes and agrees to give Karen his car, so looks like the angry mob is back on the menu, baby! And Lonnie's figured out where they should take their torches and pitchforks next.
If you track those locations, it's a straight line. Basically an arrow pointing straight to Lampkin Lane, Michael's childhood home.
Allison's rip-roaring to hunt Michael down, but when they get to the house, Lonnie begins having some misgivings about his parenting.
You fucking dummy, you brought your kid to the belly of the beast.
Still, he stops one rational thought short of waiting for backup. Telling the teens to stay behind, he ventures inside the Myers house by himself. The Myers house was recreated on a soundstage in Wilmington, North Carolina, where they shot this movie back in 2019.
For a while, we were going to rebuild his house in a neighborhood, but then I was just thinking, we're going to be shooting all night, every night in someone's neighborhood. Very aggressive, violent, screaming scenes. I don't think that's going to go over well.
The large set contained real grass and real trees, and like always, real attention to detail. A sculptor was even brought in to recreate a unique tree the filmmakers noticed in the original film. A gunshot sends the kids running in after Lonnie, and the two find the body of Little John, who's been stabbed with both Big and Little knife. Big John's here too, and Michael's laid out their bodies in a way that recreates a picture they had together. Aww. That's nice. While Allison arms herself with more crime scene evidence, Cameron wanders off and finds his dad's body hanging out in the attic. How'd Michael get him up there so fast? Cameron could ask Michael himself, but before he gets an answer, he gets a stab to the gut. Oh shit! Allison shows up and gets a few good licks in before Michael tosses her down the stairs, breaking her leg. In a painful-looking ordeal, Michael forces an injured Cameron through the banister before jerking his head all over the place. He doesn't stop until he's a drooly mess, then finishes him off with a final neck snap. Brutal! Michael descends the stairs to confront Allison. Despite her best efforts, he quickly has her dead to rights, leading to some defiant final words.
Do it! Do it! Do it!
Thankfully, Mama Bear Karen is here, and she's got other plans. Unfortunately, those plans don't involve double tapping him with that pitchfork. Instead, she grabs his mask and tries to lure him away from the house. How about it, Mike? Easy victim or your widow security mask? Well, killing's not the same when you don't look like bleached Bill Shatner, so off he goes towards Karen. Michael chases her onto a seemingly deserted street that ends up being a Halloween block party, with everyone invited, including this very intense extra. Oh, Casey Jones over there. And a lady with an iron? What the fuck? Even Brackett's here.
It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Nice that Cyphers got to repeat his iconic line from 40 plus years ago.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
The mob finally does something useful and beats Michael to the ground, with Karen delivering a final stab to the neck. Of course, ain't no kill graphic on screen, and Laurie's got a monologue to explain why.
I always thought Michael Myers was flesh and blood, just like you and me. But a mortal man could not have survived what he's lived through. The more he kills, the more he transcends into something else impossible to defeat.
Before Brackett can put Michael Myers down for good, he leaps into action, slashing the former sheriff's throat. In a montage that kinda looks like a Nike commercial, Michael hacks his way through the rest of the mob. No one's walking away from this intact, but I count about 5 people that I can confidently say won't be walking away at all. This guy in a great costume, and 4 other townspeople who are stabbed and slashed in the neck and back. With his teammates down, Tommy steps up to the plate, only to take an immediate stab to the chest. As Karen is lured upstairs by the ghost of little boy Michael, Big Boy Michael finishes Tommy off with a gushy off-screen beating. The movie ends with Karen staring out the window, unaware of the... Oh shit, oh no! Michael stabs Karen to death in the same bedroom in which he performed his first kill. Her daughter and the cops just downstairs. It's a kill so unexpected, the whole movie goes a little psycho.
Yup.
I guess Michael crept in through the back door, just like he did earlier before he killed the Johns. The movie actually ends with Laurie staring out the window, ready for her next showdown with the boogeyman. Evil didn't die tonight, but a lot of the people trying to kill it did. Just how many? Well, let's stop, look, listen, and get to the numbers.
Oh, that was brilliant. I love that.
I counted 31 kills in Halloween Kills, the highest body count from any movie in the franchise. In fact, let's see how it stacks up against the others. As you can see, the original wasn't all that bloody, while Season of the Witch came close to this one, and them zombie movies did some work too. The victims in this film were 17 males, 5 females, and 9 unknown firefighters, giving us this Michael Myers chart. And with a runtime of 105 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.39 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Big John. It's a nasty kill. The eyeballs popping out of his sockets is some seriously gnarly stuff.
Agreed.
But Doll Machete for lamest kill will go to his partner Little John. Real fucking dumb how he just stands there and lets Michael Myers kill him. And off screen, come on, have a little dignity, Stewart. And that
maybe he just wanted to die because his partner just died, so maybe wanted just to die together.
That's it. Halloween Kills came out in 2021 and is the second movie in this new trilogy. The third film, Halloween Ends, will be released later this year, and I'll cover it after it comes out on Blu-ray. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Hello, all you meaties out there in Radio Land.
Sup?
We got a treat for you this Canada Day.
Oh, yeah, I have the story you want to tell.
Straight from the frigid up north, it's Pontypool, a zombie movie with hardly any zombies in it.
What?
Pontypool takes place in a radio station and plays out like a radio show.
Eat that hot Grant.
Girl, you got it. Hit me.
It's a whole lot of telling and not all that much showing, but you know what? Somehow it works.
Simple as that.
Between the excellent performances and claustrophobic setting, Pontypool will let your imagination do all the work.
This will grow vicious.
You'll hear a world falling into chaos as people lose their ability to speak, and by God, you'll be scared of it.
I'm scared! I'm scared!
See, or rather hear, for yourself by watching Pontypool this week.
It's a great idea. You should be running the world.
And on Friday, tune your stations to Dead Meat so you can watch a Canada Day Kill Count.
Okay.
You listening to this?